Hi everyone, this is what's happening in Brazil. My name is José Bernardes and I bring you the latest from our country. Check out the news from this week.
The National Congress approved this week a bill that will keep alive the Fund for the Development of Basic Education, Fundabe, the main mechanism used to finance public education in the country. In 2019, almost 67% of the money invested into education came from the fund. This was widely considered a defeat for the Jair Bolsonaro government, which intended to use the money elsewhere. The measure approved in Congress increases funding for the initiative by 13% and stands to benefit 45 million students. 10% of the extra resources will be spent according to individual municipal budgets, which helps poor cities in rich states. The bill also establishes that at least 60% of funds go to paying teachers' salaries, a victory for the sector. The project now moves forward for approval in the Senate and will be brought to the floor in the next 15 days. Also this week, the Brazilian population was handed yet another victory in Congress. A project that seeks to extend emergency assistance benefits of around $30 monthly to farmers that have not yet received theirs has been approved. The bill also provides credit and incentives to production. The measures aim to aid small farmers who have been hard hit by the coronavirus pandemic. A result of the struggle of social movements and opposition lawmakers, the project will provide small farmers who have still not received their emergency assistance the back pay in up to 5 installments. If the bill passes, farmers that are interested may count on additional technical assistance to help with the building and extension of new rural structures and production units. Besides farmers, traditional fishermen and other workers in the sector will benefit. The project also needs to be approved in the Senate.
A study done in the Federal District where Brazil's capital Brasilia is located showed that the lowest indices of social isolation are concentrated in impoverished areas. This happens because residents of these communities have to expose themselves daily to COVID-19 in order to work and maintain their family's income.
A great deal of the population in poorer areas is on the front lines of essential services. They are the trash collectors, the ones driving buses, the cashiers at stores, pharmacies, the ones keeping the city functioning. Besides this, a large part of those residing in impoverished areas work in informal settings. Another part is unemployed. People need income daily, and they have been left behind by public entities, with delays to access emergency assistance or with those having no access at all.
E tantos outros que não conseguiram acessar o auxílio emergencial.
Thiago Carlos is an administrative assistant in the area that has the highest number of COVID-19 deaths in the Federal District. His reality mirrors that of many residents of the country's capital's poorer areas.
Eu não tenho essa opção.
I don't have the option of staying at home. It is a little difficult for me. I have to leave the house, take buses to go to work, because I have to go to work. We don't have this option of staying isolated, because if you stay isolated, you have no money. It prevents the disease, but you have no money. And if you go to work, you've got money to put food on your table, but run the risk of getting COVID-19.
Even with the growing number of cases in the Federal District, the local government keeps undoing social distancing policies. This further exposes the workers that do not have the option to stay home, as is the case with Ana Carolina. She works at the reception of a hospital in Brasilia and faces the fear of getting sick daily.
The hospital has taken some preventive measures, like keep high-risk people away from work, and I was one of them. But soon after had to return to work because the hospital needed me. It is very frustrating, especially for those working in a hospital environment, because we see people running around all the time, people being admitted and dying all the time because of the virus.
Sendo internadas, pessoas morrendo.
Screenwriter and director Ana Muylaert is a reference in Brazilian cinema. Through her 25-year career, the struggle for the recognition of women in a sector that is male-dominated has been a mark in her trajectory. In an exclusive interview to Brasil de Fato, she talks about this fight and about the current situation in the filmmaking amid the pandemic. Let's have a look.
Filmmaker, screenwriter, and television director Ana Muylaert is one of the most renowned names in Brazilian cinema. But to get to where she is, she had to face difficulties common to most women.
A mulher e o cinema é igual a mulher e qualquer outra coisa.
Women in cinema are just like women doing anything else. It's not easy. We live in a system that values men much more than women, and we are raised within this system. Therefore, the National Cinema Association did a study and has numbers to show. Women direct around 17% of productions. Now, if we were to analyze budgets in films directed by men compared to those by women, the number is perhaps even smaller. Along my path, I didn't quite grasp how complicated the situation actually was, because I saw it as normal, you understand? It was obvious that men were always getting promoted and I wasn't. Men were also making more than me to do the same things. Also, how long it took for me to get any credit, since in the labor market it's acceptable for a woman to work, and if she does a good job, it is absorbed by others. However, giving them any credit is second step, very complicated. Many people work and work and work and never get any credit.
Eu vou nadar na piscina da casa dos outros.
In relation to cinema production during the pandemic, the director recognizes that the situation has gotten worse. However, points out the destructive impact the Jair Bolsonaro government has had on the sector.
Ele não gosta de cultura.
He doesn't like culture, he doesn't like smarts, and he doesn't like to read. He makes this all clear. Cinema then becomes the enemy, and he is trying to destroy any way he can. If he could, he would have already destroyed the National Cinema Agency, but he can't, for legal reasons. But it was already almost as a standstill, and now with the pandemic, even more so.
Não voltasse por quê? Vou lhe dizer uma coisa, Deus me livre, mas um dia tu vai entender direitinho tua mãe.
In today's Brazilianese, more delicacies from our country.
Olá, gente! Boa noite!
Hello guys, I'm Luana Bezerra and I'll be sharing with you another recipe from our agroecology food pantry at the Landless Workers Movement. I will use 2 eggs, cilantro, bell peppers, garlic, manioc flour and spices if you have them. Cumin, pepper, salt and some sort of fat to cook with. I will heat up some fat here. It can be anything you like, butter, oil. I add some onions, garlic and the bell pepper. I put some salt and the spices. I'll put it to the fire to cook a bit and add 1 of the 2 cups of water. Let it boil and then add the egg and flour. Now that my onion is already transparent, I add the rest of the water. While it cooks, I turn the heat down a bit. I'll add the flour, but not pure, so chunks don't form. I dissolve the flour in some water and slowly add it to the pan. And really let the flour cook. Let it boil for about 3 minutes. Then go ahead and put it in a pot and it's ready. It's tasty, healthy and fills you up.
And that's all for today, folks. If you liked the video, be sure to click the like button, share and subscribe to our channel to get notified of new videos. See you next week!